Hey guys, welcome back to another competitive analysis video. Appreciate y'all's feedback on the last one, and I know you guys want some Storm League content, and that'll be coming, but while these games are still relatively fresh in my mind, I figured I'd go over them, give you guys some thoughts, and maybe it could be beneficial regardless, especially for those of y'all who are more interested in competitive and in the competitive mindset. So we're still in the same series as last time, the grand finals of season two. Last time we went over game one. Now we're all the way in game five. So we won three maps. They won one map, and they already had the map advantage because they were in the winners final, or they're in the winners bracket. We're in the losers bracket. So just gonna go over draft again real quick. And yeah, I mean drafting's not that complicated. I think sometimes people make it more complicated than it has to be. And like people always ask me like what's the secret to drafting, and I feel like it's just understanding your team and your team strengths and weaknesses, and also like researching your opponent, trying to figure out what they're gonna play, and yeah, just doing your best. And I think like the first bans and the first picks are the most important part. After that, I normally just ask my team like what they think, and we get like more of a team involvement because I'll ask like, what do y'all think about this pick? What do y'all think about this pick? People will, like spitball some ideas. So for this draft, it's like they banned Stitch's Zera because we just beat them with Stitches 2 games in a row. And of course, like my Zera, I'm like known for my Zera, and it's really annoying to play against, so they just got rid of it. Also, Zera is one of the biggest Zagara counters, who is very, very popular on this patch. And so that's why we were gonna ban Zagara anyways, but that's why I wanted to hold it for second ban, because I wanted to force him to ban a Zagara counter like Zera or Tracer, and then ban the Zagara. And then we banned the Lucio because the only map they beat us on so far, they had Lucio, and it was super annoying. And my team hates playing against Lucio too, so it's like Masquerade. He's always tilted every time they have Lucio. He's like, I can't send anything, and I'm like, all right, we'll ban Lucio. We'll ban, so sometimes banning stuff that's annoying or something that you lost to is always good. So like they lost to Citrus twice and to the Zera once, so they're banning stuff they lost against. We're banning Lucio because we lost against it, and then Zagara of course is OP. And then so they went for the Tychus first pick, which is pretty standard for them because they love Tychus. Like that's been like their bread and butter pick the whole season. So something we expected. We went Junk Anubrak because Junkrat's OP, especially on this map because he can do the camp really fast. He can soak really well and safely. He's got good boss control and he's got good control over the point. So we think Junkrat's super OP. We're really happy to get him here. And then Anubrak because Anubrak is really good at ganking. Anubrak's really strong late game, and this map usually goes past 20 because it's really hard to end on because of the way the core works, where it heals itself and it has armor until you get multiple keeps down. And also, Anubrak's nice for cheesing the objective too because you can use the beetles sometimes to like cheese cap. Like whenever they're not paying attention, you can go sneak the cap and get a few seconds. And also a really good ganker for this map because it's a slightly larger map, so sometimes you can find some nice gank opportunities like a 3v3 or 2v3 gank or something like that. And then they banned Falsified because we just beat them with it as well, like in the last game, and it looked really good that game. So pretty expected ban. We banned Ava, which kind of a weird ban, but Ava's actually one of the not well-known counters to Junkrat. It's something we experienced where something like a monk Abathur here, they just hat the monk and he punches the junk and he's like half HP like instantly. So just something that's like annoying. We didn't really want to deal with it. We didn't feel like there's anything that could beat us with. And then this game, I'm going for the Malthael, as I like to call him. I mean, you can call him Malthael if you're, not a Chad gamer. But if you want to say Malthael, that's way better. Okay, so we're going for that because they have a pretty melee heavy comp. I actually played it the 2 games before this, so I was like pretty warmed up. And it's like a comfort pick for me, a hero that I like a lot. Not super common. Like, we could have just went with the Dahaka or like the Leoric or Blaze or something. I'm sure it would have been fine, but I was feeling it. And to get the Brightwing with it is really, really nice because he can enable the Atael to go in really deep and get those big burst heals, get that cleanse, blink to follow you whenever you blink in. So really nice pairing here. We liked our draft a lot. We weren't sure about the last pick. I think we were considering Tracer because Tracer looks good. We were like, Hanzo. I think I was like, okay, let's do Hanzo. Like, so when you're the drafter, it is important that you have like the final say because a lot of times people aren't sure. So you want to make sure you step up and like I wasn't sure either, but like I don't want my team to know I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like you have to sometimes you have to show that confidence so that people believe in themselves. Like people believe in you and they believe in themselves. But that's also something that you build. It isn't something you can just expect to happen. So like we had months of me saying like trust me, this is good, and then that actually working, and then that's how your teammates get confidence in you as a drafter. And then my teammates as well, they'll be like, no, 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 trust me, that pick's bad. And then like sometimes I won't believe them, and we pick it and we get stomped. And like I told you that pick's bad. So the next time whenever they say trust me that pick's bad, I'll be more likely to trust them. So just some small stuff there about draft. Okay, let's jump into the game though. So for Malthael builds, I pretty much only go the same build every game, which is Fear the Reaper, Die Alone, Massacre, Last Rites, Inevitable End, Mortality, and No One Can Stop Death. I pretty much never change it. The 7 I think is the most flexible. The 10 relatively, like you can go Torment if you think it's good. And then the 13 as well, you can go like Spell Shield or the Physical Armor. But this is my favorite build because the Fear of the Reaper, I think, is very, very important for maneuvering in the team fights and in the skirmishes and escaping ganks. And I really like Inevitable End for the self cleanse. I feel like you can do a lot of outplays and stuff like that. So I'm definitely a big fan of taking that talent. And I think one thing to note is like you should know your strengths and weaknesses as a player and try to play off of that. So like me, I know my strengths are movement, reaction time, decision making, and awareness of the game state. So meaning like movement, I'm really good at like sidestepping abilities and like just that whole movement thing of like blinking over stuff, and like my fast reaction time aids in that because I'm able to react quickly to what the opponent's doing and dodge that. So like a hero like Malthael or like Zeratul, which are two of my more known heroes, it's really good to play that because of that. But one of my weaknesses I know is like over aggression. So I'm always trying to keep it in mind like let me try not to go too over aggressive and throw the game because I've thrown so many games by unnecessarily being over aggressive, and that's like where the team comes into where they can try to pull me back sometimes, you know, and understanding your teammates' strengths and weaknesses I think is super important as well because then you can preemptively stop them from falling into one of their weaknesses, or you can encourage them to build off their strengths. And a lot of times they don't even know, or like because everyone has a different perspective, so you can be like, hey, I notice you're doing this really well, like keep it up, or I notice like you got to work on this. So stuff like that in a team environment is really really important. And yeah, understanding your weaknesses is super super important. So whether you're a Storm League player, competitive player, whatever, you should really have a good idea what you need to work on because then you'll have that improvement based mindset, and you'll be able to like start improving if you keep those things in mind. And watching your replays like this is a really good way to like if you're not sure or if you want to focus on that. I think watching replays is a really good idea because that's how you learn and that's how you get better. Because I compare it to like kind of like studying for a test. Like the next game is a test, right? So like every game before that, that's kind of the practice test. Whenever you take a practice test, you go look at what wrong answers you had, and you're like, okay, I need to work on this, work on this. So similarly, you want to see your mistakes and focus on those. Okay, okay. Let's focus up on the game now. So we got out of the early game. So we had a nice gank early on Hogger. Not much to see here. Basically, the way you play this map or the best way you play this map, in my opinion, is you have two solo laners. So generally, your two safest heroes, your two best wave clear heroes, you put one in one lane, you put the other in the other lane, so top and bot, and then your 3-man plays from mid. And your 3-man is usually but not always, your healer, your range DPS who's not as safe, and your tank. That's usually your 3-man who clears mid. And so you can see both teams are kind of setting up the same thing, where Sukov, Tychus, Muradin is their 3-man, their solo is Hogger, their other solo is Sylph, and for us it's like Junkrat's are solo, Malthael's are solo, and 3-man, Anub, Hanzo, Brightwing. And so like 1-3-1 or 4-1, those are usually the most common things you'll see people talking about when it comes to laning, and definitely applies on this map. So right here, oh wait, let me go to our vision, I'm trolling. So right here, I know that I have Brightwing Z, so I can play a little aggressive here, taking this trade. I know my team's coming, and I know they're still on their camp. And the reason why I know all that is because everyone does the camp when they spawn. Like, that's super, super normal. So if you go back a bit, see, like, as soon as the camp spawns, I know both teams are going to do their camp again, right? But I know we do it way faster. Why? Because Hogger is their best camp hero. And this is why on this map, I don't usually like to draft a solo laner who does the camp. I'd much rather have a DPS who does the camp fast. So I like the Junkrat on this map, or like the Greymane or something like that. The heroes that can do the camp really fast as a DPS, because you end up in this awkward scenario where Hogger wants to do the camp, but he also has to clear the solo lane, right? Like for me, it's perfect for me because I can clear the solo lane while my Junkrat does the camp. So this enables us to do the camp way fast. Like Tychus Sukov does it way slower. So knowing this, I know that my team will have priority. So like something we talked about last time, where we have priority on the map. I mean, we do the camp first. We're on the map faster. So although I'm outnumbered here, I always know I have the Brightwing Global, and I can always tell him, "Yo, Z me, I need help." You know, and sometimes I'll tell him to watch me. And I think as you build your synergy with your healer, like for us, it's like really easy because he can just tell by the tone of my voice how badly I need the Z, or like if I'm looking for a play, and he knows how much I like to go in, so he's always watching me, so it's really, really nice. And yeah, I know my noob and Hanzo are on the way because we finished the camp way faster, right? So we're able to get his E here and kill him. Probably shouldn't have killed him if he just jumped sooner. So that was a bit fortunate, but yeah, just that play setup, just by, like I said earlier, one of my strengths is like awareness of game state. So I know that I can go in there. So that's something you got to work on as well, is like being aware of where the opponent is, and also understanding your opponent. I think is very, very important. Is you should try not to ever be surprised. Like the more surprised you are, that generally means the worse player you are. Like, because you should always be anticipating and predicting and being ready for anything that your opponent could possibly do. So whether it's a gank, whether it's what abilities they're using when, you should always have an anticipatory mindset, and you should never really be shocked by anything they do. And the more shocked you are, the more you have to work on, basically. So that's just something to keep in mind, is like being aware of the game state, trying to get in the mind of your opponent, and understanding what they can do. So right here, they go for our cap because they see Junkrats clearing another top wave, and because they cap their camp second, they're able to capitalize off that and go for the cap. We're trying to cap back, and we call it an engage because, so the reason why we call it engage here is because since Junkrat did clear that extra top wave and Hogger is a little late now, we know that we have a 5v4 here. So even though I'm a little bit low, again, we have Brightwing Z, so it's a bit of a limit test, but it's also an informed decision based off the fact that we're 5v4 right here. So I go in, get the Z at the absolute last second, go in again. We finish the nobody. Wait, oh, huge boop actually. We're able to finish the Tigers off of that. And then stepping up a little bit here, as you can see, getting that last bait, that's a limit test right there. That's playing to your absolute limit. So you already know they're molding after that. Not being able to kill me there. I basically had 3 health bars there because of the Brightwing heals. So that's one good example of where to draft Brightwing, is whenever you do have a strong melee carry like that, that's super good for Brightwing, because Brightwing single target heal is very, very strong. With the phase shift, when you're talking about that spell shield, you're talking about the blink heal later on, and then the cleanse burst that they buffed this recently, it's really, really strong. So you're talking about all that on a single target, it's really, really good. So making them focus you as a Malthael or whatever frontliner, it's really, really nice. That way Brightwing can just only heal one. But when Brightwing has to heal like 3 or 4 people at once, that's when it gets tough. So, but in this single target environment, it's very, very nice for the Brightwing heals. So right here we flip the map a bit. I back and I run straight to top because Lutano's doing the camp here. So even though I was normally bot, and then we are able to get level 10 here. So after we got those initial picks, we didn't want to overforce because we did use a lot of resources. I had to base as well, so we just got in a few of the timer here, and we called to get 10 and go for timer again. So go for objective again, because 10 to 9 it's way safer, right? So now we're able to step up here and go ahead and secure the objective. I'm also calling that I have priority again. So right now I'm saying, yo guys, I got prio on their soul laner. So something you should always be calling as a soul laner is whether you have priority or not. Meaning, like, are you going to make it to the fight first, or is he going to make it to the fight first? And if he's going to make it to the fight first, you have to be very vocal about that. Whether it's spamming your team back, or just letting them know that, hey, he's going to be there first. Be very, very careful. And making sure your team acknowledges that is something you got to work on as well, because there's been a lot of times where I tell them that Hogger's coming or somebody's coming, and they don't listen because they're too focused on their own play. So sometimes I like start yelling until someone says, okay, okay, we heard you. And I'm like, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. Because they're too busy fighting, you know? So, and then he shows up 5v4 and they're like, surprise Pikachu's face, you know, so always gotta make sure. So right here, we got the objective using the cocoon, which is definitely good use of cocoon. Just secure the objective, get out. And I think we hit a massive arrow here, if I remember correctly. Hosty with the downtown arrow from bottom lane. Oh my god, it's insane. And I think we ended up getting a kill. Meanwhile, Malthael and the Hogger is a really good matchup for Malthael, so this is another reason why I picked it, is because you can definitely bully him in stages. Oh, I think the tower shot, that was really bad. You could definitely bully him in like a situation like this. So I'll show you kind of how I'm playing this. Just eating the wave, just clearing the wave past him, because I know I can lifesteal. And then taking that massacre out does make me tank one shot, but I'm just focused on clearing the wave here, while my team keeps brawling mid. But you see here, he's taking the extended trade into me, but boom, jump the shockwave. Now that's a gamer game right there. That's a gamer play right there. And then I call for the Z, and I don't have mana for Q, and he lives with 20. Wait. Okay, well this is bug. 20. I think it's 22 HP. I don't know. It says he's full HP. I think he's hacking. Wait, it says everyone's 27. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but kind of unlucky. I didn't have mana for Q. But see right there, that's what I'm talking about with reaction time, being able to blink over stuff like that. That's big. That's big. So just a little nice, but I mean, even if we kill him, it doesn't matter at all. It's just like a nice thing. Like these sort of mid game kills generally don't really translate into anything, especially because objective's down. But it was. Oh, my camera was going crazy. It was still nice. It was fun. Lutano's spam pinging for heals. I remember he was kind of mad here. He was like, "Where's my healer?" And Blaze like, I'm coming. Relax, relax." It was a little funny. I remember I was like, "Dude, settle down." He was really mad. He's like, "I need heals." But anyway, all right, let's focus up. So at this stage of the game, I think they end up going for a boss. So we put a mine on this boss, and we're like, "Yo, they could be on bottom boss," and like we reacted way too late. So you see, now we finally notice they're here, so we all beeline. But we don't see the HP on the boss until now. We're like, uh-oh, it's almost dead. But we still called a fight because they've been taking the boss the whole time, and they've been taking abilities. Huge arrow from Hosty there. I get shoved out, but still I'm able to go in, get Wailing arrowed, but at this point, the fight's basically lost for them. We're able to clean up here. Although they do get the boss, I'm just cleaning up the back line here. I'm really low, so I'm just looking to trade before I die. I don't think I could have lived there. I think I had to self-cleanse that Wailing Arrow. Next time I'm going to look for that play. Wait, were we? Maybe we weren't 13 yet. Maybe that's what happened. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, we were 13. I could have, and I even took it. You see how I instantly took it? I could have self-cleansed this arrow if I was a little bit better. Or the Sukal combo. I should have self-cleansed something. It was really bad for me. Should have self-cleansed. Probably would have lived there if I was able to self-cleanse. Or use inevitable end, so... Bad play from me overall, but still really nice play from the team. I think we end up getting a 4-for-1 here. And they get the boss, but we just free clear it. So overall, good trade for us. And now we just clear the boss, get back on the map. We need to fix these lanes. Fixing lanes meaning like push them back out, basically. Get them pushing in our favor rather than in the favor of the opponent. So good thing Junkrat lived there, because it's usually the solo laner's job, but Junkrat is a hero that can definitely fix those lanes. So now we're just calling to get some timer, but we don't want to overstay here. So like that's one thing you gotta watch out for, is overstaying in these scenarios, because the enemy team is gonna spawn and they're gonna be upset, you know, because they're all full HP and they're mad they just lost the fight. So you gotta be careful of taking. Don't bite off too much after you get a victory. You gotta take what you can get and make sure you get out. So Masquerade definitely biting off a little bit too much here, overstaying the objective, and they're able to all in him. And they almost kill Legacy too, but thankfully our boy Hosty with the downtown arrow once again, hitting a disgusting 4-man arrow. We're actually able to trade the kill 3v5. Well, 3.5v5 because we had the arrow. So, and Hosty MVP with the arrow so far. But yeah, a little bit of overextension there for Masquerade. Greeting for the timer. In those scenarios, you just want to get what you can and leave soon. So definitely overstayed is welcome. Oh, right here, they try to gank me, but I self-cleanse the Mirrodin Stun. And I jump back in because I'm just disrespecting right now. I'm just kind of feeling it right now. I'm being a little confident, a little cocky. As soon as I saw them do that, this is when I knew we won this game. This is when I knew we won this game. As soon as I saw him use Shockwave like that, and the fact that I'm disrespecting them this hard, like look at this. This is 2v4, and I'm this confident that I can self-cleanse the Mercy and melee range. That's a ping diff right there. That's a ping diff. But still, like, this level of disrespect, this level of confidence, sometimes you gotta be able to do this in the big moment games. Like this is, remember, this is game 5. This is game point for us. If we win, we take everything. This is when I knew we were gonna win right here, because we're basically 2v5ing them, you know, like. And then as soon as I get this Z, I dodge another stun there, dodge that. Oh, if I hit that E, I definitely would have went in. But like, that's just a little thing of like being confident and getting in the mind of your opponent, understanding their psychology, where you're kind of beating them down and you're still disrespecting them. That makes them really upset, and that makes them start to play worse too because you're getting in their head a little bit whenever you play like that. Because and then next time, so that's another thing is like condition your opponent. So like right now I'm conditioning them by thinking that I'm a super aggro psycho. Like potentially next time I might not actually do that, and but they might expect me to do that. So they're conditioned to me playing extremely aggressive. So that's a little mind game you can do where it's like sometimes you play extremely aggressive, sometimes you don't. You got to keep your opponents guessing, and you have to like you basically have to be the one making them react to you rather than the other way. So right here, we actually had a big disagreement over this call because we just secured the objective, and this is one of the scenarios where we had a big disagreement because I was yelling boss. Like normally what happens with our team is I'm going for the more aggressive call and Lutano is going for the safer. Like he always says like he'd rather have an 80% play than like a 60% play. But me I'm always like, dude, it's 60%, but I know we can win 100%. That's what I always say. It doesn't really make sense, but I'm just more aggressive, I guess. But like right here, he really didn't want a boss, and he was pretty upset about it. I kept saying no, 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 boss, boss, boss. We're 16, we're 16. I'm like boss, because I wanted to tag this with the objective because I felt like the objective wasn't enough. I'm like, we're 16, 15. If they come, we'll just kill them all. Like we have Junkrat, we have Double Boop, we have Cocoon. Like I felt like we had enough tools here. So thankfully he listened to me this time. Sometimes like we go back and forth. So like you gotta trust each other, you know. Like cause he's the main shot caller, I'm the secondary shot caller. But like sometimes you gotta hear the other person how serious they are and then reevaluate, even though you might not agree. So and also, we just saw two of them mid as well, so I think that's what made it safer. So they don't even contest. So I was pretty happy we were able to get this boss with the objective because that makes your objective way stronger. Then so right here, we're going for the engage, 16-15. Really tragic. He engaged on him and then cocooned him. So we thought we should arrow there. I think that was on Maska. He shouldn't have cocooned. He should have trusted the arrow. But I think Hosty probably could have called his arrow sooner. So maybe a bit on both of them. Now right here, I think we go call for top keep, right? I would assume, because we have a boss and objective. They do have Odin and Sylvana, so their defense is really good. So I don't know if we're actually able to get it here. Let's see. Malthael's one of Malthael's biggest weaknesses is he has no siege damage at all. Like his building hitting is really bad. Even though his wave clear is really good and his camp clear is really good, his building damage is absolutely horrible. So there's almost nothing I can do in a siege like this. So just throw out my E. And I think here we just called it back up because we're a little afraid they're gonna engage on us, engage fast, and we can just clean up all the forts. The main reason why we're afraid is because we don't have our ultis yet, our two big ultis, Hanzo and a Nubrak ulti, and we don't want to give him a chance to come back into the game by like overgreeding and overstaying. So we just call to get some additional bullet, finish this fort, get some damage on this fort, and we have this trap to secure the backside flank right here. So Murden actually walks into the trap, so I step up, we chunk him a bit. I last ride pretty early here, but I think it was fine just because I forced him to Avatar as a result. Dodge another stun, and now I get the Brightwing Z. We cocoon the Sylvanas, put a trap under it. This is a really good fight for us. Another massive arrow from Hosty, and now we just run him down, baby. And as you can see right there, okay, well, you'll see me into here soon. Okay, I might have went a little too ham. I was a little too hyphy there. A little too hyphy, but worth. So as you can see right here, I was able to self-cleanse. So this isn't really a reaction self-cleanse. This is more of an anticipatory. Like I said, that anticipatory mindset. What is the enemy team going to do when you guys are sprinting at them with a huge advantage? They're probably going to throw all their abilities on the first person they see, right? So this is why right after I blink in, first thing I press is unstoppable. And let's see how many abilities we take with this. Okay, well, there's a Murden stun, there's a Sylvanas Wailing Arrow, and there's a Stukov Root combo. All of those cleanse. Also, we got the Brightwing cleanse off as well. You see right there, there are three main CC tools. All of those cleanse immediately. So that's like more of an anticipatory thing right there. And then yeah, a little bit aggressive here on the chase, but that's my calling card. Over aggressive psychopath. So we got a little split here. I think Hosty should have kept chasing Murden. And then right here was another situation where we got split on calls. I was calling to Beetle bottom fort. I really wanted this bottom fort. So I was saying bottom fort, bottom fort, bottom fort. Lutano was saying no, push mid wall, push mid wall. So you could probably see a little bit of indecisiveness from us. This used to happen to us a lot more. Like you see Hosty's running towards bot, so like we're in between. This is something we used to have a lot of problems with before with our team, where me and Lutano would always be split on calls. But I think as we played more and more together, we were able to like find more middle ground. And we also at some point, I remember in the season 1 playoffs, we had a really bad scenario where that happened. So season 1 playoffs, we had like a long replay review with the team, where at the end of it, basically I just said, okay, if we're ever split, just listen to Lutano, because just based on the feedback I was hearing from the team, I think they were more comfortable with like his shot calling style. So I mean, it's not like I become like depressed. I never make calls anymore. I still have to be confident in myself and my shot calling ability, but still being able to recognize that I'm more of in a secondary role. So in situations like this, still like even still the team like sometimes they want to listen to me because I think my team I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes they listen to me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they listen to him, sometimes they don't. Because a lot of times, two plays are like both very, very good, and it's hard to discern which one is better in the heat of the moment. It's like this mid wall is really, really good, but so is this bottom four. I still think, looking back on it, I still think this bottom four is better. I don't know. I might be crazy, but Lutano really wanted mid wall though. So, but I think this bottom four is huge because the next objective's bought, and the next boss is bought. So like to me, it's a no-brainer to get bottom. But you know what? I respect the shot caller. I was like, okay, okay, get mid, get mid. You know, Mask is still going bottom. But yeah, just another scenario where you gotta make sure you guys have a good shot calling environment. Mask is kind of inting here. We're like yelling at him to run. That was kind of crazy, but I mean, they're 4v3 or 4v2, so they're fine. But yeah, in a team environment, you gotta recognize the hierarchy of who calls the shots, especially if you're in a split like that. You have to have a well-established scenario. And so see here I'm pinging boss saying boss is up. We gotta keep an eye on it. I think we greeted this camp. Looking back on it, I think we only needed the jump grad on this. I don't think we needed both because I think it's looking back on it now. I think it's pretty evident that they're getting really desperate since we're so much closer to 20 and we keep winning every single team fight. So I think it's pretty obvious looking back on it now that they're gonna force this boss, but we recognized it a little bit too late. We greed the camp with 2 people, and as you can see, by the time Maska checks it, I guess we think we have more time than we do. But yeah, by the time he checks it, it's already halfway done, and they go on him. But thankfully, our boy Hosty with another big arrow. I get the big damage here, and so even though Maska died without doing anything, he still did his job. So that's like one of those as a tank where sometimes you have to die for the team, and it's completely fine because they saw him walk into this bush. But since they stepped up past the boss and they used everything on him, we were able to hit that disgusting arrow and clean them up. And now, so right here, I think we probably shouldn't have finished this boss. I don't know. I guess it's fine. So right there, blink the Murden stun, and then I'm gonna self cleanse right there. The Sukov root combo, but they have a Hogger on point spinning around, so they actually end up murdering us. What does it end up being? It ends up being a 4 for 3. So still in our favor, but I think probably we should have just went for the objective here instead of greeting the because we were 4v3. Maybe it was fine. We were 4v3 and we ended up getting a 2 for 2. And I think we're able to barely save this fort. So now we're up 20-19 and boss is spawning in 35 seconds. Maska is going for, again, this little cheese here. I think he messes it up, though. Yeah, kind of messes it up, and they're watching him. Lutano's running straight to top, and he wants to put a trap on this boss to scout it, so this is really good. He puts a concussion mine here to scout it, which is really nice. And then I think we end up calling to do the camp, and then we called a look at top boss. But I think we end up just starting it because I think one of them shows bottom to greed this wave for 20. So we're afraid that they're on it right now. That's why we're all sprinting here. We're afraid that they might be doing it while we're showing bottom side. But then we're like, oh wait, we can do it. And right now we see Hogger bottom. So we know we do boss very, very quickly. So we know he has a long trek all the way to top. And so it's basically going to be a 5v4. And then also we can cocoon one person. So basically it becomes a 5v3 for at least the initial portions of the fight. So 5v3 plus we have 2 Junkrat traps. They have no cleanse, and we have 2 Junkrat concussion mines because like he used the other one way earlier, so he's gonna have another one. So double boop, double trap, cocoon, rewind to Nubarak. This guy got dismounted mid as well, so he's super late. So it's basically just game right here. And they do try to contest, but yeah, we just boop him off once. He jumps back in, boop him off again. Cocoon to Sukov. Free kill, 5v3. Pretty textbook. So by the time Hogger gets here, it's too late, like we said. And then at this point, it's just cleanup duty for the lads. So I would say this one was a bit of a draft gap as well, but as you can see, our synergy was really good this game. I think we're definitely locked in. We're focused up. This was a nice last game of our team together. Because now I don't know if you guys know, but I'm not playing next season CCL. Lutano's not playing, and Hostie's not playing. So 3 of our members are done. We won both season 1 and season 2. Now it's a little bit of a break time. I'm still gonna be on the roster as a substitute slash coach, but not gonna be starting. And then Lutano, Hostie are done for the time being. At least, I mean, like we never say never, so who knows? But at least for the next season or 2, we're done. And then yeah, that's it. GG's. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know again any feedback, any questions, all that. And yeah, until next time, guys. GG's.